UFC hot takes that I 100% believe in. In this video, I'm going to go through 11 hot takes, and I am 100% confident in these, and I 100% believe in these, and you guys should too. And if you don't, let me know in the comments why you disagree and drop a hot take of your own. I did this video like 2 months ago. You guys seem to enjoy it. So yeah, with that out of the way, let's get right into it with the first hot take, starting off with Islam Makashev is a greater lightweight than Khabib Nurmagomedov. Now, this isn't the hottest take of all hot takes, but I still see people going around talking about, dude, Khabib is clearly above Islam. Islam literally almost loses every fight. Guess what, buddy? You can argue that Khabib nearly lost or arguably lost to Gleison Tibau. And I think the whole aspect of Khabib Nurmagomedov being undefeated and never cut, never touched, all this stuff is what draws the narrative that he's a greater lightweight than Islam. I just disagree, man. When you look at the resumes, Islam Makashev has more title defenses at 4 versus Khabib's 3. He has a longer win streak at 15 versus Khabib's 13. He's tied the second longest win streak in UFC history. You look at the notable wins, Khabib has Gaethje, Poirier, McGregor, Barbosa, Dos Anjos. Solid wins, but nothing to write home about, right? Islam Makashev has Moicano, fair enough, on short notice, not the best win. Poirier, solid win. Volkanovski, amazing win. Oliveira, amazing win. Oliveira was on an 11-fight win streak when he beat him. Dan Hooker, decent win. And Arman Tsarukyan, amazing win. That win's aged amazingly. And Islam has a bunch of bottom feeder wins, more than Khabib has. And I just think that it's silly to argue that Khabib is a greater lightweight than Islam in modern day UFC just because you like the vibes of Khabib not losing ever. Like, dude, Islam is basically undefeated. He lost to Adriano Martins in 2015, 10 years ago. I mean, you can argue that Khabib lost to Gleison Tibau if you want to be that technical, but Islam literally lost when he was like 2 years old to Gleison Tibau, and I just think Islam has the better resume. He's more impressive. He's fought harder opponents, and he was on top longer than Khabib, and he's fought more often than Khabib, which to me says that he is the greater lightweight of all time. And if you disagree, you're simply wrong. Let's get on to the next one that also involves Islam. JDM handily beats Islam. Now that I'm done glazing Islam, let's get right into this one. I think Jack Della Maddalena will handily beat Islam. Now, why do I think that? Well, Islam has recently come out and saying he's struggling to put on the weight to go to 170. Wow, is JDM the biggest 170 ever? No, but he has said that in the cage, he's like 195 pounds, which is going to be way bigger than Islam walks into the cage. Not to mention, JDM has a bigger frame than nearly any lightweight that Islam's ever faced. Whenever these guys go up to new divisions, it isn't always that the guy's bigger. It's the frame that gets him, right? And if you look at Islam's fight, I point to the one with Dustin Poirier. People don't like whenever we do MMA math, but guess what? I'm going to do MMA math. Dustin Poirier went life and death with Islam Makashev and showed amazing takedown defense in that fight when Poirier has never really been known for his takedown defense. He gets taken down by nearly everybody. And Islam struggled to get him to the ground. Ultimately, he did. Ultimately, Islam did outstrike Poirier in the fight. And ultimately, he got him down and he eventually got the submission. Now, JDM is literally Dustin Poirier with buff stats, right? He has a better chin. He has a better takedown defense shown and proved in the Bilal Muhammad fight. And he has better scrambles than Dustin Poirier. He has a bigger frame than Dustin Poirier. And I just think that with him being an upgraded version of Dustin Poirier, I just think that Islam Makashev, who's nearly 34 years old, I don't think Islam's in his prime anymore. I think we're going to slowly start to see him decline a bit. Yes, Islam's only 34, but guess what? This guy's been around the UFC since he was like 21, 22 years old. He's been around for 12 years now. Eventually, Father Time catches up. He has a lot of miles. He's taken a decent amount of damage, and I just think JDM at a prime, 28, 29 years old, literally a better version of Dustin Poirier, bigger frame, shown improved takedown defense against Bilal, who trains with Islam. I just think JDM is going to handily beat Islam Makashev, and you can't tell me otherwise. JDM will get it done by 49-46 decision. Mark my words. Let's get on to Ilia is a more/harder matchup for Islam than JDM is. I meant to say more difficult/harder. Either way, Ilia Topuria is a harder matchup/more dangerous matchup for Islam than JDM is, and I wholly in my heart believe this. I just think that Ilia Topuria is a better striker than JDM. He's a more dangerous striker than JDM, and I can argue that Ilia Topuria has better grappling than JDM. We don't know much about Ilia's takedown defense in recent years. He hasn't really been attempted to be takedown all that much, but as shown in the Charles fight, he reversed the takedown mid-air and then got Charles into the crucifix position, which is extremely impressive. Even Islam could not do that. It was kind of a stalemate in the grappling until Islam was able to knock down Charles and ultimately submit him, but I just think that Ilia Topuria is a harder slash more dangerous fight for Islam, because guess what? Every single second the fight's on the feet with Islam versus Topuria, Islam is in danger of getting KO'd out cold. And let's not pretend that Islam is going to just bully Ilia in the grappling, as we saw, as I point to the Dustin Poirier fight once again. It just won't happen, man. I just don't see it happening. I think that Ilia Topuria is a way more dangerous matchup and harder matchup for Islam than JDM is. And yes, that's right, I'm dunking on Islam a bit. I think that Islam Makashev loses to JDM and Ilia Topuria. And here's an even more hot take. I think even if Islam somehow beats JDM and goes down to fight Ilia, he still loses to Ilia, because I just think Ilia is simply too dangerous for Makashev. Like, if you're going to the 5th round with Volkanovski, who's an amazing fighter, but and nearly getting finished in the 5th, dude, I'm sorry, dude. Ilia Topuria is sleeping Islam Makashev. You might not want to hear it. You might think I'm hating on Islam. I think Islam is one of the most well-rounded fighters of all time. But listen, dude, I think his time is up. And I think Ilia, as he says, represents a new generation. And I think it would be a 1st or 2nd round KO for Ilia Topuria, where I think JDM takes him to a decision. Let's get on to Ilia Topuria will never fight Max Holloway again. I am sick and tired of the fans going around saying, dude, Max Holloway is only 1 fight away from a title shot. He's only 2 fights away. The rematch with Ilia. Guys, what part of don't you understand that Ilia Topuria will never fight Max Holloway again? He just won't. Ilia Topuria has said multiple times he's not interested in rematches. He didn't even want to fight Max the first time at featherweight because he said that Max is an old head. He's been around forever. Let's give new guys a chance. But either way, I just don't see a world where Ilia Topuria rematches Max. This is a guy that's trying to speed run his UFC career. He's trying to get new wins and a new challenge every single time. And I just don't see a world where Ilia's like, I already beat Max Holloway once. Max Holloway's already been beaten multiple times by 2 different opponents. Max Holloway's lost 3 times to Volkanovski and 2 times to Poirier. So Ilia having 2 wins over him really doesn't do much for his legacy, considering that Max has already lost twice to multiple opponents. Now, does that mean that Max Holloway sucks? No. I just think that the reason Ilia will never fight Max again is because Ilia is looking for bigger and better challenges. He's looking for new fights every single time. If he beats Arman, if he beats Patty, if he beats any of these guys, he's not going to fight them even in a rematch. He's looking for a new challenge every single time. So I just think that him fighting Max Holloway is talked about way too much. It's not going to happen. Mark my words. You will not see this fight rebooked ever again. Let's get on to the next hot take, which is there's no definitive GOAT. The sport's too young. Now, obviously, I have made GOAT lists. Lucas Tracy's made GOAT lists. They're one of the biggest talks of the town when it comes to the MMA space. But I truly believe that there's no definitive GOAT. The sport's only, 33 years old, 32 years old? It's too early to say that there's a definitive GOAT of the sport. Boxing took over 50 years, 60, 70, 100 years to get GOAT to the sport. We're only 32 years in, and we're already saying guys like John Jones and GSP and Islam and Volk, and I'm guilty of this as well, are the GOATs. It's just fun to talk about, but if you truly ask me, I do not think there's like a GOAT of the sport right now where you can say this guy is definitively way better than everybody else ever was. He has the way better wins. He has the unmarked resume. I mean, John Jones, he's done steroids. He's been stripped of his title multiple times. He arguably beat overblown middleweights his entire career in favorable matchups. He's like the Floyd Mayweather of MMA when it comes to carefully choosing his opponents, right? And then you have Islam Makashev, who you can say his title run was a little bit faulty with the way the wins went. And I don't know, man. There's just, I'm kind of rambling and yapping about it, but I truly believe that there's no definitive GOAT. And if you think there's a definitive GOAT, drop in the comments why and who it is, because I just don't see it. I don't think there's a guy that's way head and shoulders above the rest where we can say, yeah, this guy's the GOAT, bar none, that's it. Drop it. Let's get on to the next hot take. There's no such thing as a weight bully. I love this one. I see people in my comments all the time saying, wow, Hamzat's such a weight bully. Wow, Islam's such a weight bully. First of all, let me dispel the whole weight bully thing about Islam, because guess what? Renato Moicano outweighed Islam Makashev in their title fight. So nobody calls Moicano a weight bully. But the reason there's no such thing as a weight bully, guys, is because everybody has equal opportunity. It's not like Khamzat Chimaev can cut weight, but nobody else can't. It's not like Rainer de Ritter can cut weight, but nobody else can't. Everybody's on a level playing field. You can cut weight, and guess what? Whenever you cut a lot of weight, you risk getting KO'd easier because the less water there is in your brain, the more likely you are to be finished. TJ Dillashaw going down to flyweight, for example, he literally got nudged by Henry Cejudo and basically went out. But I just don't see a such thing as a weight bully. Like, everybody can cut weight, and you don't have to cut weight. If you cut weight, then you get the bigger size advantage over your opponent, but you can risk getting KO'd easier by not having enough hydration to the brain. If you don't cut weight, then you're going to feel better inside the octagon. You're going to move better. You're going to perform better, but you give up their size advantage. So you have a choice to do either or. Obviously, most guys choose to cut weight in the UFC, and I just think the whole narrative that weight bullies exist. It's just ridiculous. They don't exist. It doesn't make sense. It's a stupid term. And every time I see it in my comments, I cringe. And if you think there's a such thing as a weight bully, let me know why in the comments, because if everybody can do it, then how are people weight bullies? Because it's a bully would be that you can do something that somebody else can't in a sense, but it's a level playing field. Everybody can do it. Everybody has equal opportunity. Let's get on to Anthony Hernandez, who just steamrolled and ragdolled Roman Dolidze last night. I think he beats every middleweight other than Khamzat and DDP. That's right. I think Fluffy beats Nasruddin Imavov. He gasses him out, eventually gets the submission in round 4 or 5, just like he did to Dolidze. Yes, Imavov's a better striker than Dolidze, but ultimately, I think that Imavov has a questionable gas tank, and he slows down later in fights, and Anthony Hernandez would be able to exploit that. And not to mention, Anthony Hernandez can hold his own in the striking against Imavov, and he has an amazing chin. Against Cal Barajo, kind of the same thing. I think he would gas Cal Barajo out. Yes, Cal Barajo probably has a little bit better grappling than Imavov, but it doesn't matter, man. Anthony Hernandez will drown Cal Barajo. He will drown all these guys that are under Khamzat and DDP, and he will eventually get a dominant decision in the later rounds, or he will get a late finish against all these guys. Outside of Khamzat and DDP, nobody beats Anthony Hernandez. He is literally the Marab of middleweight. This guy keeps coming. He has grueling takedowns. He's position over submission at all times, which is very impressive. He's shown improved striking. Actually said that he came out as a kickboxer, which I actually didn't know. But tell me, if you guys think Imavov or Cal Barajo beats this guy, tell me how. Because I thought that Imavov's gas tank, specifically in the Brennan Allen fight, looked a bit questionable. Go back and watch that fight. He was getting tired, man. Anthony Hernandez does not get tired. And in a 5-round fight, unless you're Dricus, who also has an amazing gas tank, or unless you're Khamzat, who can probably submit him, nobody beats this guy. He's going to be a top 5 fighter, and you're going to have to live with it. Anthony Hernandez to the moon. Let's go. Let's move on to the next one. DDP is the middleweight GOAT if he beats Khamzat Chimaev. Yes, I 100% believe this, and the reason I believe this is because losses matter. So, Anderson Silva had 10 title defenses, right? Obviously, he was on top of the UFC middleweight division forever. He went 16-0 in his first 16 fights in the UFC, destroyed the competition. However, the competition that was destroyed was very low level. Dricus du Plessis is beating champions back to back to back. This guy's finishing Adesanya, submitting him, right? He's defeating guys like Robert Whittaker, finishing him, right? He's destroying Sean Strickland in the rematch, right? This guy has amazing wins. And Khamzat Chimaev, if he beats him, is a better win than anybody that Anderson Silva has ever beat across his entire career. Khamzat Chimaev is a more impressive opponent. And I think DDP, with only, 3 or 4 title defenses, would pass Anderson Silva as the middleweight GOAT because the level of competition, the dominance that this guy has displayed, he's finishing or dominating everybody outside of Sean Strickland in the first fight, and he went on to dominate him in the second fight, and he's never lost. Anderson Silva went like 1-7-1 at the end of his UFC career. Yeah, you can say he fought past his prime, but guess what? He chose to keep fighting. If you choose to keep fighting, it goes against your legacy, in my opinion, and ultimately, Dricus would be 10-0 in the UFC, beating Khamzat Chimaev. Yes, he would have way less title defenses, but as we know, it was a lot easier to get title defenses back in Anderson Silva's day than it was for a guy like Dricus. Dricus had to go, 7-0, 8-0 in the UFC before he got a title shot? Back in the day, Anderson Silva fought one time in the UFC, instantly got a title shot, and then he was able to dominate the division, which was way lower competition. I think level of competition is the most important thing, and Dricus is doing it in the modern era, beating absolute killers like Khamzat Chimaev, Sean Strickland, and Robert Whittaker. So yes, if DDP beats Chimaev at UFC 319, he is 100% the middleweight GOAT, and I won't stand for anything else. And if you are still living in 1962 and you think Anderson is still above him if he beats Khamzat Chimaev, then I don't know what to tell you. Let's get on to the next one. Inactivity should drop you in the UFC rankings. Now, although I don't think this is the hottest of takes, I don't hear a lot of people say it. Yes, Kamaru Usman didn't get a win in the welterweight division from December of 2021 all the way up until June of 2025. And guess what? He remained a top 5 fighter that entire time. That is absolute shenanigans that he almost went 4 years without a win, and he did not drop out of the top 5 in his division. Colby Covington, who fights like once a year, gets unlimited title shots and always is losing. This guy doesn't have a win in the UFC since 2022 against Jorge Masvidal, who's retired now. Guess what? He's still a top 10 welterweight in the UFC. And this just goes to show that the people who do the rankings, for whatever reason, decide to keep these guys so high up despite not fighting. I think activity should be above guys just sitting on their ranking. It's ridiculous. I'm so tired of seeing guys not fighting, not winning, and remaining in the top 5. Not only did Kamaru Usman not get a win in 3.5 years, he was also on a 3-fight losing streak, and this guy remained top 5. Listen, I understand he's one of the welterweight GOATs. I understand he was on a 15-fight win streak at one point, but we're not living in 1942 anymore, buddy. Kamaru Usman has 1 win in the last almost 4 years, and he's still a top 5 welterweight. I think that's insane because he has no wins over any top 5 welterweights at the moment. But you get my point. If you're inactive and you're not winning fights and you're also on a losing streak, that should drop you in the rankings. And in the case of Kamaru Usman and Colby Covington, for whatever reason, that does not seem to exist. Let's get on to the next one. Waiting for your title shot is a dumb/bad career move. I've always said this. I cannot stand when I hear a guy say, dude, Robert Whittaker should have waited for his title shot instead of fighting, who was it? Robert Whittaker should have waited for his rematch for a title shot instead of giving it up and fighting Khamzat Chimaev. He would have got his title shot. I think that's such a dumb mindset. If you're the best in the world, you don't wait for your title shot, right? Unless you're fighting for specifically money and nothing else, waiting for your title shot is just dumb. It's just dumb. It's wasting your career. It's making you inactive. You only get so many years of your prime in MMA. Why just sit on the sideline? Make yourself undeniable. Go on a 8, 9, 10 fight win streak and say, you know what? I'm going to win so many fights that they're going to have to give me a title shot no matter what I do or no matter what they say or do, because I am undeniable. So many times you see guys fight another guy and people are like, man, he should have waited for his title shot. Or you see a guy sit out for a year, year and a half, Bilal Muhammad, and get their title shot and ultimately win. And then people say, oh, well, you see, that's why he waited. He got his title shot and he won. No, screw that, dude. If you're the best in the world, you beat everybody. That's just it. And unless money's your only motivator, then I think that it's a bad career move to wait for a title shot. This is going to be a controversial one, and a lot of people are going to disagree with this one, but I'm dying on the hill. I think that waiting for your title shot is a dumb/bad career move. Now, let me clarify. If you're only waiting like 6 to 8 months for your title shot, then fair enough. But dude, if you're sitting, I'm talking about the guys who were sitting out a year and a half waiting for a title shot. That's dumb. You only get so much of your prime. Fight while you can, beat everybody, make yourself undeniable, and that's that, dude. Title wins aren't everything, as we all know. Let's get on to the last one of this video. UFC open scoring is a terrible idea, and it kills a lot of the hype within fights. People always talk about, dude, they need to do open scoring in the UFC. That way fighters wouldn't just like sit in the 3rd round not going for a finish. Well, guess what? You can play the flip side as well. What if you have a guy that's up 2-0, right, in a 3-round fight, and he knows that because the open scoring? Guess what? He's going to coast in the 3rd round and avoid exchanging with the other guy because he knows that he's winning the fight. It also kills a lot of the hype and suspense in fights. Think about it. Bruce Buffer announcing who's the winner of a really close title fight. How much hype there is in that. You're just sitting waiting on him to go for the winner by split decision, and you already know that. It would just kill all the hype. I love whenever Bruce Buffer's announcing the winner and we have no idea who's going to win, and we have built the suspense to know who's going to win right at the end. And that just builds up so much hype. And open scoring would absolutely demolish that. And I just don't like it. It kills too much hype and suspense in the sport. And I just don't think it's a good thing. And it'll make a lot more fighters coast. Sure, you could say it'll do the opposite. And fighters will go for the KO more if they know they're down. But I don't think that's the case. We see fighters all the time who are getting completely destroyed in fights, down 3 rounds to 0, 2 rounds to 0. And guess what? They don't go for a finish in the 3rd or 4th round. They clinch up against the fence. So would it really help? I do not think so. Ultimately, guys, these are 11 of my hottest UFC takes. Some of these not so hot. Other of these are steaming hot. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you agree or disagree, I'm 100% right on these. Whether you like it or not, I'm out, guys, and peace.